Hi, welcome back to the Scent Advocate. Tonight we're talking about fragrances that bloom in the summer heat. So you're outside in the blazing hot sun or the very humid, not so sunny weather, and whatever it is, it's hot. And you want to wear a fragrance that doesn't get weird or cloying or I don't know, just too much, that doesn't project in a way that isn't what you intended. Something that is actually enhanced by the slightest bit of perspiration. Now, I'm not talking about instances where you are gushing sweat, although some of these may be able to withstand that. But just a little bit of glisten out in the summer heat. These will be amazing. So let's jump right in. But before we do, let's share our beverages for the evening. So I've got some water, but I also have some coffee, of course. Fantastic. Let's jump right in. The first fragrance for this evening that is amazing with a little bit of perspiration is, here we go, Tears by Régime de Fleurs. And this is a Matthew Nardin fragrance. This is an EDP. It is 75 ml. It was released in 2022 and it goes for $275. The notes in this: lilac, orris, olibanum, frankincense, etc., etc. There's ambergris, rosewater, pink pepper. It is a magical concoction. And I think when dealing with, the heaviness of the frankincense, the potential indolic nature of a flower like lilac, I just, I feel like it's possible it could go wrong, but not this one. Maybe it's the ambergris that sets it off. It is a fantastic light floral, and florals don't usually do well on me, especially in the heat. But this is amazing. There's also green cognac oil. Anyone know what that is? Let me know in the comments. Have you ever heard of that? But I think ultimately the notes in this just come together to create a light spring floral, offset by a heavier resin, and that ambergris, that real kind of, for me, ambergris is almost minerally but oceanic at the same time, with just the slightest hint of funk. All of it comes together to create a gorgeous fragrance that is embellished by the moisture of the skin in the heat. I absolutely love this stuff. If you haven't tried it, you definitely should, especially in the summertime. Régime de Fleurs, Tears. Moving on, we've got one of my all-time favorites for summer. It's Pepe by Hilde Soliani. Oh yes, this is magnificent. So this is 100 ml. It's an EDP. It is a 2024 release and it goes for $175. The notes in this, keep it real basic: salt and pepper. So there's a hint of citrus and a creaminess that I think can come from an oceanic vibe. I sometimes get that from ambergris as well. There's just something to it. I know that sounds weird given what ambergris is, but there is something of a creaminess here, and I'm not going to get into that too much because I feel like I'm teetering on the edge of gross, but there's something more than just salt and pepper. A rich somewhat sweet citrus is going on in the background. And I think that gives it, you know, something very wearable. You know, you think about salt and pepper, and that may not necessarily be consistent with what you think of as, you know, a beautiful scent to wear, but this definitely is. And then I found, and by the way, I've tested these, I found that in the summer heat, this only gets more beautiful. The pepper really comes out and has almost a floral quality, and it's lightened up by that citrus. Absolutely beautiful. Perfectly unisex. So I think that this one leans a little feminine, but this one is very unisex. In fact, I think it may even lean a little masculine. If you've tried it, let me know in the comments if you think it does. You know, that creaminess that goes on, I don't think it gives it a feminine quality, but let me know your experience with this. Soli Pepe by Hilde Soliani, who is, by the way, I think commonly referred to as the Queen of Gourmands. I absolutely love the house. All right, moving on. One of my most favorite fragrances of all time. You probably saw this one coming because I've often said that it is amazing with a little bit of sweat. It is Marin by James Heeley. Oh yes, one of the most beautiful fragrances ever created, in my opinion. This can be polarizing, right? So people, I've heard all kinds of stuff like, oh, it smells like fish. I do not even close. This to me is a very photorealistic oceanic fragrance. This is ocean water, straight up. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. So this is an EDP. It's 100 ml. It's a 2008 release, and it goes for about $195. The notes in this are lemon, bergamot, green notes, seawater, salt, seagrass, moss, cedar, musk, and leather. Now, I've heard people talk about, you know, seaweed, and that can be a little funky. Like I said before, I've even heard fish or shellfish. And I don't agree with those last few characteristics or descriptions. What I will tell you is this takes me to a seaside restaurant where I've eaten, say, you know, oysters on the half shell or clams on the half shell. But if those smell like fish, something's very wrong and you shouldn't eat them. They smell like seawater. And I'm not kidding. I'm not, you know, saying it like figuratively. They really shouldn't smell like anything other than seawater. And that's what this smells like. What takes me to the restaurant experience is the lemon. Because, you know, you're on the beach, you know, either a restaurant or just walking along, and there's sea spray, the oceanic air, the salt in the air, and then that lemon. So at a restaurant, I'm inclined to drink, you know, I drink a lot of club soda with lemon, or if I've got, you know, seafood coming, there'll be fresh cut lemon. So there's that hint of lemon going on, and that offsets the seawater. And it's just an exquisite thing. But I don't get any animalic of any kind, fish, fowl, nothing. Let me know in the comments if you do. Again, I hear, you know, all kinds of wacky things about this. Wacky to me, perfectly legitimate for everyone who's experiencing it. But for me, this is just an amazing photorealistic oceanic fragrance. Now, how does it smell on the skin when you perspire a little bit? Gorgeous. The lemon comes out, the salt comes out. It smells very natural, maybe even a little bit masculine. It is succulent. It makes your skin, I mean, it's just exquisite. And I think I've said this recently. I don't want to get, you know, too deep into it, but it is just extraordinary on the skin. It makes the skin smell more like skin than without it, if you can imagine what I'm saying. It just bolsters that gorgeous, natural musk from a person, you know, in all the right ways. That's what this does. It's incredible. I think it's magical. Obviously, I love this stuff. Let me know if you do too in the comments. Marin by James Heeley. Okay, moving on. Oh, yes. Thomas Kosmala. And here we've got number 7, La Selle de la Terre. So this is a 2018 release. It's an EDP. This is 100 ml, and it goes for about $220. The notes in this are leather, wood, spices, amber, and musk. Oh, it's beautiful. So a very salty mineral type fragrance, not oceanic. So I think, you know, like the name implies, it's salt of the earth, but not oceanic. There's no seawater there, yet it's salty, it's mineral. I think the musk and the amber give it a different vibe. It's almost less wet and more dry than the James Heeley. It makes sense that, you know, when you think of this, it would be like the Bonneville salt flats in Utah or a salt mine somewhere. You know, very much legitimate in its own right as to the salty notes and the mineral notes. Just different from, you know, the oceanic vibe. Same basic principle though. You wear this and it just blooms on the skin. It's incredible. Very lovely, very complimentary, and the musk just thrives on the moisture from the skin. It just makes it better. And it's hard to imagine someone not loving this. I do get a hint of citrus in this, and I think that helps a lot. It lightens it up. It makes it bright for a nice sunny day, or uplifting on, you know, a cloudy summer day where it's really humid or even dry. It's exquisite stuff. Easy reach. This is straight down the middle, unisex, but you know, I love it. It's not a strong fragrance. It's very present. It's got its longevity for sure, but it doesn't project a whole lot. It's a nice subtle fragrance, right? If you want to take it easy, this is an easy reach. Gorgeous stuff. It is Thomas Kosmala, La Selle de la Terre. All right, moving on. We have right here, Parfum de Empires, Acqua di Scandola. So this is a 2016 release. This is an EDP. This is 50 ml, and it goes for about $130. The nose behind this is Marc Antoine Corchado, and the notes are seaweed, immortelle, juniper citrus, marine notes, and woods. So this fragrance is it's more related to Marin than La Selle de la Terre. This is a little bit more in the oceanic direction, but definitely its own thing. I wouldn't have purchased it if it smelled, you know, too close to Marin. I think the dry immortelle and the expression of the juniper in this, it's a woody kind of feel, like a dry wood. Very, very beautiful. A dry, almost, oh boy. Yeah, a combination of maybe a little bit of leather and wood. Very handsome smelling. I don't get any seaweed at all, not even close. This leans masculine, and It's very, you know, very strong, very broken in. This is, oh gosh, someone wearing a lot of leather, who cut down a tree, who perspired a bit while doing it. It's lovely. It's very, very, very sexy to me. This smells incredible. You know, again, just absolutely delicious on someone's skin. That's what you get from this. And the juniper mixed with the woods and the immortelle, I think, give it, you know, something of a perfume that is more outdoorsy than human musk, or the lack of human musk, and just that salt. There's something more to this. It's very special. It's an easy reach. I think universally pleasing. I can't imagine anyone not liking this. Have you heard of it? Have you tried it? Acqua di Scandola by Parfum d'Empire. Moving on, we've got, let's see, where are you? Where are you? Chambre 52. Oops, there we go. Contre to Peau. So this is an EDP. It is 50 ml. It goes for about $145, and I don't have the year on it. The notes in this are musk, woods, amber, iris. Yeah, so this is a very soft, kind of woody musk. Very, very pretty. So this leans feminine, in my opinion. Very, very much a beautiful, bright expression of iris with skin. If you appreciate the Glossier You line, it's in the same family. I think this is more sophisticated by a lot, but if you like that, this will appeal to you. So if you've never experienced Glossier You, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Try this first. By the way, I said this was 50 ml. It's 52 ml. The amber is not heavily expressed here. The musk is, but it's a very soft, non-animalic musk. And the iris is very beautifully combined with those other notes. I think this feels especially natural for me if I were out and about, you know, just running around doing my thing in a warm, dry climate. I think this would be really beautiful. I don't know how it would be in a humid climate. I wouldn't be inclined to reach for this because the iris is powdery. The woods are powdery or not creamy. The amber is not so much a textural amber. It's not a resinous thing. It's just a slight hint at a perfume. You know, amber, of course, being more of a fantasy note. You know, I don't think real amber smells like anything. But I think you get where I'm going with that kind of amber note. And then the combination of all of it, I think, lends itself to, you know, a drier climate experience. I think this would do much better in, you know, when I lived in Utah, right? That would be something I'd reach for on a hot, sunny day. Certainly you could try it. It may work well on you. I don't think it would work great on me in a humid climate, but it is a stunner, easy reach, feminine leaning Contre to Peau by Chambre 52. Moving on, we've got Chapel Factory Pura Luxe. Love this stuff. This is an EDP. It is 100 ml. This goes for about $180. The notes in this are incense, incense, woods, resins, minerals. What do I get from it? This is more of a soapy take on that really clean, watery, minerally experience. The minerals are there, but not a heavy salt. The incense is subtle, but present. It's not a smoky incense, so it's not an incense you're burning. It's an incense that's yet to be burned, but it has that smell that only incense has. You know, I think there's something about the way it's, the substance is compacted. It has a textural note to it, and that's what's going on here. There's a slight hint of citrus and then that soapy accord. This is definitely unisex, but that's it. I'm going to stop there. It's unisex, right? This is, I just got out of the shower and I ran out and, you know, it's warm and, you know, I'm very slightly glistening, you know, shimmering under the sunlight. And this is the way I smell, you know, fresh out of the shower. That's what you get from this. This smells like you did not put on a fragrance. This is just the remnant of a really expensive shower gel. And again, a little bit of a hint of citrus, I think brightens it up a lot. This doesn't feel like a cloudy day that's hot. This is a bright, happy, sunny day. I think this could be wonderful in the dry heat and also in a more humid climate. Beautiful stuff. Chapel Factory, Perlux. There we go. Okay. This one I don't talk about very much, and I don't know why, because it is wonderful, and I've heard some commentary about this house, but this one in particular, I'm not so sure I've heard much about. Maybe one video in the content that I watch. It is Clean Reserve Rain. Yes, very popular. I heard about the Clean Reserve Skin, like I guess it's the initial offering, but that really, I was completely anosmic to it. I couldn't smell a thing. And I brought my little girl with me like the second and third times I tried it, and she couldn't smell it either. But this really has a lovely fragrance. I'm able to smell it no problem. I'm not usually anosmic to things. That is one of the very few fragrances that I just could not, after repeated attempts, detect any smell at all. So this is a 2016, in case I'm repeating myself, I apologize, 2016 release, EDP 100 ml. It goes for about $110. It's Patricia Show. And this is bergamot, cucumber, water lily, white flowers, patchouli, and vetiver. Yeah. I think you get the water lily from it. Or maybe it's just a combination of white flowers. There's definitely a light non-hippie patchouli in here. Very beautifully done, very commercially pleasing. It doesn't smell so niche, okay, but I love it. I don't care. Bergamot is just, you know, like a fluttering butterfly, just little bits here and there to let you know it's there. The cucumber, I think, adds to the watery kind of feel, that wetness of it. I think this fragrance is, well, I know it's wonderful on me in the humid weather, sunlight or overcast. It's even better in the dry heat, but this can go either way. I do think this leans feminine. This is not a beast mode fragrance, but I'm always surprised at the projection. The longevity, meh. It's okay, you know, I guess you get a few hours out of it, but the projection is solid, more than I would have expected from such a light fragrance. So I really love this stuff. Have you tried it? Do you find that the other versions of the Clean Reserve are strong enough for you. I mean, this is described as a watery musk, and I suppose that's true, but you know, I think the others are some orientation of musk as well, and I just couldn't smell a darn thing. So let me know what you think of this one. If you've tried it, or if you have a favorite clean reserve, let me know in the comments. Okay, next we've got Aesop Karst. So this is very much a salty, gorgeous experience. There we go. I love Aesop. They're so interesting, and this one's no different. This is a 2023 release. It's an EDP. It's 50 ml, and it goes for about $200. The nose behind this is Barnaby Fion, and the notes are juniper, bergamot, cumin, rosemary, sandalwood, cedar, and vetiver. I don't get any cumin in this. This is a watery, so, oh gosh, how can I describe this? If I were on a beach in the Pacific Northwest in the heat, this is what it would smell like. I have no doubt. It is along the lines of Marin, but Marin is more Atlantic. This is more Pacific Northwest. And why do I say that? I think because of the juniper and the sandalwood, the cedar, all of that. You know, in my mind, that takes me to the Pacific Northwest as opposed to the Atlantic, which is just super salty and citrusy and not as perfumed with the balsamic notes as what I picture is the case for the Pacific Northwest. You know, you're on a cliff overlooking the beautiful breaking waves below on a rocky shoreline. It's not a beach, whereas Marin is a beach. This is not. This is a rocky shoreline. It's beautiful. You've got, you know, coniferous trees all around you. You feel amazing. It looks amazing. It smells amazing, but it smells different from the opposite coast. This is absolutely unisex. I think this is beautiful in the more humid climate. I know when I wear it, it's fantastic, and it's very humid here in New York, upstate New York in the summer. But it also works beautifully in the dry heat. I wore it in Utah, and I absolutely loved it. Gorgeous stuff. Again, if you're not a fan of cumin, I wouldn't worry about it in this one. I don't detect cumin. I definitely detect a pronounced bergamot combined with that juniper, but not cumin. So check out Aesop Karst. Moving on, we've got Diptyque Philosykos. Not your traditional choice, I think, in this setting, but I just had to do it. Oh, I love it. So it's a 1996 release. It's an EDP. It's 75 ml, and it goes for about $260. The nose behind this is Olivia Jacobatti, and this is fig leaf, figs, green notes, coconut, fig tree, cedar, wood, and that's it. So this fragrance is a green fig, and what I love about it is it takes me right to the Mediterranean, you know, similar to other fragrances I've talked about tonight, kind of that rocky beach type situation. But instead of the balsamic notes going on in the background, you get that perfumed green fig leaf, or that immature fig fruit, which I love, right? Because figs are, they're like inverted flowers. They're like a fruit, but the inside is the flower. It's wild. The coconut is barely there. And, you know, this is one of the instances where the blending of the notes is just exquisite. It is complementary, very difficult to pick it out. If you think very hard about it, yes, it's there, but it is a young green coconut, much like the young green fig that would be present in this. Now there's some cedar, there's some wood, but not in the same way that you get from Karst. I'm not getting that, you know, balsamic thing going on. This is very much, you know, I'm thinking Sardinia, I'm thinking Mallorca, that sort of thing. You know, I've never been to Mallorca. My husband has, and he describes it. Mark's been to all the amazing places, by the way. He's just something of a globe trotter in his younger years, and I aspire to go everywhere he's been. But in the meantime, I can tell you, he describes it in a way that fits perfectly with this fragrance. Now, I have perspired in it, and it is wonderful. It's not too green that it gets sour. Some green fragrances, those garden, you know, like the heavy tomato leaf or tomato vine, those can get a little weird and sour on me. This does not do that. If you break a sweat, it's very nice, and it blends beautifully, and it stays quiet. It stays nice and quiet. And what I love too is it gets prettier. You get something of a light young flower coming out of it, even though that's not listed among the notes. But when I've had some perspiration while wearing it, that's what I got. Just a little bit flowery. Beautiful stuff. I mean, can you go wrong with Diptyque? I'm sorry. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I absolutely love this house, and this is Philosykos. And last but certainly not least, we have Swim SX by Pierre Guillaume. Love this fragrance. This is a 2015 release. It's an EDP. It's 50 ml, and it goes for $125. The notes in this are citrus, marine notes, driftwood, musk, and very, very pretty. It's got a little bit of an edge to it. So that musk leans in a bit. I wouldn't say it's funky, but it's got a perspiration accord, just a little bit. The slightest hint on the dry down, not in the opening. It could be a slight hint of cumin. It's not listed among the notes, and I don't always detect it, but I sometimes do, so it's noteworthy. This starts out like a really great 80s hairspray, you know, and then it settles into the most beautiful, clear water, non-cologne water, with the musk and the wood. It's very, very unisex, very appropriate for any occasion, very uplifting. It's perfumed. And what I like about it is often when I am outdoors running around and there's some perspiration, you know, it can affect the feel of or just the scent of a fragrance that has something of a perfume accord to it. It smells like something other than, you know, salt or minerals or you know, balsamic notes. It's got something else going on, something somewhat perfumey, and this does. But when I've perspired in it, it's exquisite. And how I wore this was, I took my little girl to a pool. We had a membership at a it wasn't a country club, but it was like a country club back in Utah. And I didn't get in the water much, you know. I certainly didn't, you know, submerge myself, but, you know, just get in with her a little bit and, you know, then get out and just kind of sit in the sun a bit with plenty of sunscreen on, by the way. And, you know, you just get a little bit warm, and this was what I was wearing. And it was just fantastic. I remember smelling it on myself and thinking, wow, this is great. I smell like $1,000,000 and I smell like I am wearing something much stronger than what I intended to put on. And it wasn't cloying. It wasn't, you know, too projecting, but it was so nice that I could sit there and enjoy it. And I felt like the sun really brought it out. And it's funny because I was at the pool at the time and it's called Swim. So beautiful stuff, Pierre Guillaume's Swim SX. So what do you think of tonight's lineup? Do you agree? These are great fragrances if you are out in the heat and potentially break at least a little bit of a sweat. Did I miss any? Do you think I'm wrong about any of them? Let me know in the comments. Do you love these? Do you dislike them? If you aren't yet a subscriber to the channel, please consider subscribing. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.